You've got to slow down to speed up your manifestations. And I am fresh back from doing that in a retreat in the middle of the Mexican jungle that I wasn't expecting, which is a good thing. I fortunately have people in my life that know me well enough that it's better for me to not know certain details about things because it's for my greater good, as I might have had so much resistance to doing it. And I needed to unplug on that level in order to deliver the next level version of information, of transformation, of empowerment, of energy to deliver to all of you. It's actually selfish for us to not be willing to pause and pull back that arrow so we can deliver our greatness at a whole nother level. And you're about to get that today in celebration of my 600th podcast episode. New listeners, OG listeners, I want to thank you for being here for this incredible ride. I love you so much. I can't wait to see what's in store as we're going for the stars, baby. If you're tired of hearing the same old basic mindset and motivational fluff talk, you've come to the right show. Welcome to Project Me with Tiffany Carter, the podcast, where we dish on everything from managing that crazy brain of yours to manifesting abundance to my straightforward, actionable steps that will make you major money online. Now, I'm not your typical multimillionaire entrepreneur. It takes a small village to keep my anxiety and depression in check. I'm inherently disorganized with an intense obsession with office supplies. Your girl here is a digital marketing content expert who's generated over $200 million in sales. I promise by tuning in twice a week, you will get a much needed refreshing dose of truth, clarity, and cash making advice. Now let's get to it. What up, my people, my posse, my fellow crazies? It's your host, Tiffany Carter, and this is the show that is going to help you grow your business, your bank account, that big, beautiful brain of yours, your abundance, your relationships, and everything in between. Well, first of all, I've missed you. I wanted to create a story that you guys did not miss me. You did not miss the show. You left and you aren't coming back. That inner bully is so alive and well. I even had a period where I felt guilty, like ugh, I know how important the show is to so many people. And now I'm not here and they're not getting the support they need. I mean, my brain went all over the place. And there's a lesson in this for you, as there is for me. We can often feel guilty. And I notice this especially with women, not to say men don't go through this, but I do find it in particular a major issue with women that when we do things to unplug, to care for ourselves, to reset, to recoup, to re energize, to heal, to have fun, to do joyful things, creative things, that a guilt comes up. And I know a lot of you moms out there have that extra layer as well. And we feel like we're going to have to sacrifice something. We're going to lose something. There's going to be a catch. There's going to be a price we have to pay for doing this. And then that perpetuates this constant productivity, this constant doing, this constant hustling, this constant activity. And no one can keep that up. I mean, truly, there's a small percentage of people that I've watched do this into late in life, and my mother is one of them. But guess what? Obviously not working well for her. She's on her fifth marriage, now to an ex-con and a recent ex-con who spent 5 years behind bars for stealing millions and millions of dollars from a lovely family. And she has zero contact with her only living relative, who is a delightful, caring, wonderful, supportive, and generous person, which is me. And she's paid a price for all of that. Constantly doing, never stopped. I never watched this woman just sit and even watch a movie. She had to be multitasking. She had to be exercising while watching it. It was just incessant. And I'm not going to sit here and make excuses for some of her demonic and very evil behavior, but other behaviors of hers, like that workaholism, that constant productivity, even like the eating disorder stuff, I can see how that's a product of her circumstances, where she's at in the world, her generation, where she had to fight extra hard to be taken seriously as a woman in corporate America, then a female entrepreneur. And she just kept doing, she never took her foot off the gas. And she paid a price by doing that. It's the opposite of what your brain's actually thinking. Your ego's trying to tell you you can't rest. You can't focus on making money off doing something you love. You can't take time to heal and really pull back and nurture and care for yourself. You can't say, you know what, scratch all of this. I'm not doing this anymore. I want to move in another direction. And I'm giving myself permission. I'm giving myself permission to do a full reboot on my life. You're actually going to pay the price by not doing it. It's just maybe not happening right exactly now. It's happening a little over time, right? You are putting a barrier between you and your family. You're putting a barrier between you and your relationship. You are blocking calling in supportive, loving relationships because you're constantly doing. You are taking supplements and spending all of this money in order to feel better, in order to look better, and you're chasing all that. But if you had just taken time to pull back and invest back into yourself and honor yourself instead of always going, you wouldn't have to be spending money on all of these other things. And when I say this, I still have to remind myself, even though I have so much evidence of it, I now purposely plan trips. I go on retreats with healers. I block off lots of time in order for me to simply have downtime, to allow my nervous system to rest and reset so that I can have space, so I can have silence. If you listen to, read biographies, watch documentaries on any person who is wildly successful, who has amassed a lot of wealth, who has accomplished a lot of things in life and continues to do so, all of these people have several things in common, including myself. And one of them is taking time for reprieve, taking time for silence, whether it is every single day, there's a period of time for this, whether it's weekly. You have to kind of attune and play with it and experiment to what works best with your body at any given time in life. What used to work for me a few years from now, I've had to make adjustments. What works for me now? I know for me, I need to have daily reprieve where there is silence, there's time to dream, there's time for free brain thinking, there is time to allow my brain and my nervous system to rest. And some of you listening to this now are going, easy for you to say, Tiff. You don't have kids. You're not taking care of an ailing parent. You have all this money in the bank. And that is simply your ego trying to prevent you from not doing it. We all have sets of circumstances that don't stack things in our favor. Okay. Every single one of us, it looks different. I might not have children, but I have complex PTSD that when I tell you this has to be managed daily or it will quickly swallow me up and take me down a dark hole, I'm being dead ass about that. And before I went to this jungle retreat in the Sion Khan, I hope I'm not pronouncing that wrong, reserve, the jungle of Mexico. I mean, I thought I was going to Tulum, which is also wonderful. I did not realize I was going deep into the jungle. And thankfully, the person who hosts the retreat, the incredible healer, my dear friend and client, Regina Lawrence, she knows me. She's also a fellow Virgo. Shout out my crazy Virgos. And she knew for all of us, quite frankly, none of us knew we were going deep in the jungle. I'm talking like miles and miles and I'm like a half an hour. You go on a road that's made of pounded down sand, which looks like it's smooth and it's not. And you go that half an hour to 45 minutes in the jungle. There's no lights. I mean, you want to take someone in there and hold them hostage, like, and you want to escape. This is not happening for anybody. There's no way out. This would be a good spot for like a prison. And I'm happy she didn't clarify that with us because she knows. Just like as a coach, I know really, really well what works for so many different people. It's one of my gifts. And sometimes it's better to not know. It was better for me to not know about all the things I would face in entrepreneurship. So, those of you who are trying to figure it all out and feel like you need to know all the things about all the stuff in order for you to start, you need to learn along the way. It needs to be unveiled and unraveled and exposed along the way for you in doses. Otherwise, you won't do it. Think about having kids. That you don't ever want to know everything that it entails about having kids and what's going to happen and how hard it really is, even though you hear about it. You really don't want to fully know because then you might have put off doing it, delayed doing it. You might not do it at all. The information we receive, we need to trust is what we need to know at any given time. That doesn't mean that you don't hire someone like myself who is going to get you there faster and make sure that it's done. But you don't ever see me, even with my private clients in my 2-month exclusive coaching program, which I am taking 2 more people right now in that program. I only coach 4 people at a time privately. So you can DM me on Instagram at ProjectME with Tiffany. That would be the best way to start. The reason I don't share the link anymore publicly is I would have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of applications. And we already get that, but I need to see that you'll take the initiative and you'll DM me and so that I can see like you're really serious about this because we get an overwhelming amount and we simply can't go through all of those. And I have so few spots. And if you want to make sure that you get to where you want to go, where you know you really, really desire to be in life, then that is your move. But yeah, you're going to have to pay for it. It's the most exclusive way to work with me. But what is it costing you to not do it? So that's where I'm going with this in this roundabout way. I mean, I am on a gummy after all. And I know a lot of you get surprised on that other episode where I took a gummy. This is the second episode where I took a gummy because you're like, you don't sound like you took a gummy. You sound like yourself. Well, then that just shows you how whack I am. That you guys think that I sound absolutely normal right now. I know I weave in and out of things a little more when I'm on a gummy, but I also truly believe it bypasses a little more of a filter of mine, even though I'm generally an unfiltered person. It bypasses more of that, which is why I think that you guys like it because you can see my top line train of thought. But your mind, what it's actually telling you is that you need to do the opposite. It's telling you you have to know all the things. It's telling you not to invest money until you make more money. It's telling you to wait until this and wait until that and deeba daba do. And I invested money before and it didn't work. It's telling you that you need to do more. You have to be more. You have to be less of this. You have to be more of this. None of that is true. It's the contrary action that you need to take. That what you're resisting is persists. If you're resisting really resting, really taking time to reevaluate what it is you want in life, what it is you want for your business, what legacy you want to leave, what is it that you want to do to help people in this world? What do you want to do in this new chapter of your life, this new stage of your life? And you don't give yourself time and permission to really sit in that solace and sit in that silence and invest in working with someone who's going to help you sort through that wild brain of yours and help package it together with you so you have that clarity, so you don't have dreams that just sit on a shelf and you're sitting there hoping and wishing and fantasizing that things actually move and things actually happen. The cost is the greatest there. So before I left for the jungle, the shit hit the fan. And if you're in a spot right now in your life where you feel like you're having pain in multiple areas of your life, you're noticing it in your body. Maybe you've been getting sick. Maybe you're not sleeping well. Maybe your hormones are off. You're noticing it in your money life, in your personal life. You feel more overwhelmed than ever. You feel like you've sunk more into debt. You feel more confused than ever. Before you are having your next level awakening, your next level of abundance, everything looks like it's going down the drain. You want to know why? Because that old version of you needs to die off. And we do not take major action unless we're in enough pain and discomfort. We do not get to a point of full surrender, of full openness, trust, willingness, waving the white flag. You're not going to get that by being content. You're not going to get that by being a little uncomfortable. You've got to get to a point where there is basically, I know there's a soul death happening. And I know some of you are feeling that right now. Every single person I was with at the retreat, including our facilitator, and I'm not saying anything that she I know wouldn't share publicly, had the same experience. It was brutal. I'm talking, I wasn't sleeping. I felt very puffy. I felt achy. I felt even things like, I don't want to do this, like that feeling of not wanting to go to school, like I don't want to do it. I don't like anybody. I want to hide. I didn't want to even look people like strangers in the eye. I didn't want to look people in their eyes. I didn't want to connect. I had some wildness happen with taxes, like some unexpected shit because, and I've made more money than ever because I just keep making more and more and more money, which is what I teach you how to do. We're continually expanding. And the goal of this episode is to share with you and peel back the curtain on the things you need to lean into and the things you need to lean out of in order for you to get there. And hopefully in a blunt and semi-entertaining way. And I got some like news that really pissed me off when it came to taxes. Like, I don't like taxes, okay? But like, it pissed me off. And so we had that going on. I had another personal thing going on. Then Sir Chubbs, my baby, my English bulldog, to those of you who are new to me and maybe follow me on TikTok, you need to make sure you follow me on Instagram because I share a lot of my personal life and behind the scenes inside my Instagram stories. And of course, on my email list, you want to be on my email list. There's some some really profound stuff that I'm sharing in there that you'll only be able to access through that list. And that's going to projectmewithtiffany.com/secret posse. It's completely free. It's where I share manifestation exercises, tricks, techniques, and you get a weekly affirmation from me. It's also in the link in the show notes when you swipe up. So my baby Chubbs had to have emergency surgery literally the day before I was set to leave on the retreat. He had kidney stones. I didn't know dogs got kidney stones. He is totally fine. He is back to his normal self, but it was traumatic. It was dramatic. It was scary. And I almost didn't go on the trip. And thankfully, Mike, I said to him, I don't need to go. And I want to make sure, he's okay. And he's amazing with Chubbs. And he encouraged me to go. And truly, everything in my body told me to go, even though my baby was going to be literally in a hospital. Like, I didn't know there were like legit hospitals, like where animals stayed like multiple nights. I didn't know that. And I would rather not know that. And they did an amazing job, and he's doing great. So we get tested like that. So I was on almost no sleep. I was even getting things happening where it was like, maybe I shouldn't go. And I had to trust my intuition that everything was telling me to go. The lesson here are two things. One, if you're going through it right now, if you are in a lot of discomfort and pain, it feels like everything is happening to you. It's unfair. Why me? Why me and not them? I'm a good person. I'm a hard worker. I'm this, that, or the other. It's happening for you. It really, really is. And I need you to trust it. It's happening for your greatest good to put you in enough discomfort and pain so that you can release the old you, some of your old ways, and be willing and receptive to change, be willing and receptive to ascend to the closer to your higher self. And I really see it as a layer of an ego death. Your ego is never going to go anywhere because our egos are also there to protect us, to humble us, to keep us in check. But there's layers of an ego death. And all of us at this retreat had that. But the circumstances were all different. And I'm not going to share anyone's, private stories, but just as wild, if not more wild than mine. And so we all came in there almost like in a state of like shock, to where we were laughing because we couldn't have felt any more out of it, any more universe, God, please help me. I am in full surrender. And that's exactly where you need to be in order to go to your next level, in order to have the greatest transformation, in order to call on your next level of abundance, in order to be willing to do something different because all the shit you've been doing really isn't working for you, including habits that kind of feel safe and comfortable to you, things that you think are working, but deep down, they really aren't. You have to pay a price for your shit that you're sabotaging yourself over in order for you to stop it. You have to pay a big enough price for procrastinating for you to go, I'll never do that again. You have to pay a big enough price of being overly trusting, people pleasing, codependent for you to stop it and for you to stop giving all your fucks away. You have to pay a big enough price for you not prioritizing your wellness and health, for you to not do that anymore. Just think about in your life where you've paid a big enough price of tolerating unacceptable behavior, of making excuses for people, of continuing to stay at a job that is soul sucking that you don't like because you're in self-doubt and you're afraid you won't be able to do anything else and you don't know how to do it and yada 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 you. And a lot of people I've watched that have come to me end up getting fired, and it's happening for them, or there's a major layoff, or they end up with a boss who's a tyrant, or they keep getting sick, or they're just so miserable that they have to get out. Some people end up getting cheated on, or there's a divorce and they were dependent on that person for money. Like that partner of theirs was low key a financial security blanket, which was preventing them from really going all in on their dreams. There's all sorts of shit that I've seen in coaching over 150,000 people worldwide. And I want to let you know of something we're going to do to celebrate the 600th episode. So I'm going to get you started and on your way of making a fuck ton of money online. One of the top questions I get most often is, where do I start? You know, Tiff, I'm trading so much time for money in my business. I'm exhausted. How do I create passive income? How do I, make money online so I can work from home, so I can have more freedom? Well, this is where you're starting, and I'm giving it to you for free in my content creation made easy course bundle. So you're getting a video training, you're getting my content planner, you're getting my fill in the blank caption template, all for free. All you have to do is leave a 5-star Apple review of the podcast. I will allow for 5-star reviews on Spotify. You can't do written reviews on Spotify. The only place you can do a written review is on Apple. So I need a 5-star written review on Apple. You can tap the 5 stars on Spotify. So you're getting this course bundle for free, and you need to leave a 5-star written Apple podcast review. You can tap 5 stars on Spotify, but I also would need you to shout out the show on social media. So you need to do a social media post and put your written review there, whether it's TikTok, Instagram, Facebook stories, or it's in your feed. And you need to tag me at ProjectME with Tiffany. Then all you need to do is send a screenshot of your review to us at support@projectmewithtiffany.com. These simple instructions are right in the show notes. So you can look in the description on YouTube, you can swipe up and they're in the show notes with the email. And then we will reply to your email with your screenshot with the free link in order for you to get instant access to my content creation made easy course bundle. Make sure when you do your 5-star written Apple review, you put your name or your Instagram or TikTok handle in the review. This way we can cross-reference. Okay. And that's it. It's that simple. So I wanted to give you something, but I also wanted it to be the law of reciprocity, where you're showing your appreciation for the show, which is a form of abundance and gratitude, right? And then I am reciprocating by showing my appreciation for you doing this. And you see it goes around in a beautiful circle. I give incredible high value information, my heart and my energy for free. You share your abundance and your appreciation for it, and then you're gifted as a result. And it feels so good. And I just want you to notice that feeling. So I also wanted to take away the excuse of, I don't know where to start. I have a podcast episode on here about where to start. That is just a lie that your ego is coming up with to keep you stuck. I listed 7 of the top questions that I get asked, and really 2 of the 7 have to do with, where do I start, right? I want more for my life. Where do I even start, Tiff? Tiff, I know I'm great at what I do. I built a business, yet I'm working so hard. Where do I start making money online? It feels like there's some set of secrets that the people who are making all this money online know that I don't. What am I missing here? I know that you will serve it to me straight. I love when I see messages like that, because I appreciate that, and trust me that I'll serve it to you straight. I don't need to gatekeep. That's not an abundant activity. Now, am I going to literally lay out and customize everything for you on here. No, that would be over giving and people pleasing. I have a business. You have to pay me if you want all the goods, but you certainly could binge watch or binge listen my show and really consume all of my content. And there is no way you wouldn't start making money if you implemented the stuff that I teach here. So that is your first place to start. But the issue isn't that. The issue is that you're not doing. You're taking in information, sometimes more than others, and you're not implementing that information. So you get this analysis paralysis. In fact, almost you're taking in too much. Your input to output ratio is off, which is likely causing your anxiety or overwhelm. So when we take in so much information, so much advice, so much content on doing all of the things, then you can get frozen. It's like a form of a fight, flight, or freeze response, because this is doing something new. This is scary. In fact, for most of you, this is the opposite of what you've truly been taught by society. Is what I teach is doing less to make more, is being able to monetize your gifts, passions, and talents online, and you get to make a crap ton of money while helping people. That's the opposite of what we've been taught. So it reads to your nervous system as like, this is fantasy bullshit. This isn't real. But what are you losing by continuing to believe it's not possible for you? You're losing everything that you want by continuing to believe it's not possible. So you might as well believe that it's absolutely possible and trust that you came across me, however you came across me, social media, podcast, you've met me in person, you saw me speak on a stage somewhere, someone referred you to me. You came across me for a reason, is because it is your time for you to do something about this, to do something differently, to implement it. So that's why look at all the exercise crap there is out there, the diets, the fitness, the macros, all of that information is out there, all of it for free. The issue is the discipline and the dedication and the focus and the customization of you doing it until it works. And then you keep doing it more. You have to keep showing up regardless until it works. And then once it works, now you're like, oh my God, it's working. I'm making the money. I'm getting the visibility. This is feeling good. I'm helping the people. I'm doing the things. And then that gives you more fuel to keep going. I love comparing it to like fitness and weight loss, right? The hardest part is when you're doing all the things at the beginning and it feels so hard because you're creating new habits and you're giving, and you're not really seeing much change and it doesn't feel good and it feels so hard. But then once you start seeing results, it kind of gives you a high, it gives you a boost to keep going. I'm not worried once you get to that point. What I'm worried about is you guys quit before that happens because you start making up stories that it's not happening fast enough. It must not be working for me. I must not know what I'm doing. I must not be cut out for this. You do things that are confirmation bias. See, it is hard. Some of you start doing stuff, whether you're an existing business owner. This is why I coach people starting from scratch and people who are already making a lot of money. Like this person wrote, Tiff, I know I'm great at what I do. I have a business, but I'm working so hard for all of it. While yes, I'm making 400,000 to 500,000 a year. How do I get to the millions without doing more and more and more and more? I just don't have it in me. I can't tell you how many people I've coached in this spot. And the person and your systems and your processes that have taken you to the 400, 500,000 a year mark are different than what it's going to take you to get to the millions. I know because I was stuck at a spot as well. And it's all relative. You might be stuck at 4,000 a month. You might be stuck at 2,000 a month, 10,000 a month, 15,000 a month. Stuck is stuck, right? It doesn't feel good. It's like when you hit a plateau in fitness. When you hit a weight loss plateau, what does every fucking fitness professional tell you? You've got to mix it up. You've got to shock the body, right? You've got to do something different. We got to look at the things and do something different. What got you to that 10 pounds of weight loss isn't going to get you to the 20, isn't going to get you to the 50 or whatever you're at. It's no different than in business. But you hire someone like me, you join like my ProjectME Posse business coaching membership. I think we have 2 new member spots left. I would have to go and do a refresh on my system. I'm not going to do that right now because I probably shouldn't be multitasking on a Gummie at this moment. And that is $3.33 a day. That's an absolute no-brainer. And for a very limited time, we're about to pull it. You get my Nail Your Niche Masterclass for free when you join. We are going to switch it to where you only get that when you do the annual membership option. Annual membership option is crazy. You get 2 months for free. And it also has you committing, I'm here for a year, right? Like you've got to give yourself that commitment that I'm going to show up, I'm going to do the things. This is why you do this, is it forces you to actually do them. That is the problem that you're having. And I don't even have to know you. There's millions of people listening. I don't have to know you. Your information is not your issue. It can be customization of the information, like your unique personality, your unique style of business, what you want to build, right? So you need to have something customized. No different than having to have a workout customized if you're someone who has an injury or you have, different limitations, whatever, different preferences. What makes you more likely to continue working out? What makes you more likely to stick to eating healthy is when it's customized to where it best serves you, where it feels good, where you enjoy it. There is no better analogy. The problem is that 98% of people, so literally, there will only be 2% of you who go, you know what? Enough's enough already. I know I can access the information. I can Google the shit out of stuff. I can listen to all of Tiffany's stuff. But I know it's time to implement. That's where I get stuck. I need to be honest with myself. Is that maybe I'll do all or nothing. I'm a zigzagger. I don't have the consistency, or maybe I just like don't take action at all. And if you want what you say you want, you need to set yourself up to take action. So what is it worth to you? Do you need to apply to work with me privately? That's my highest level, and you're going to pay at that level. But I know for me, that's why I only have private coaches, is because I have to show up then. It's not an option. It's like the difference between what are you going to show up more so on days where you don't feel like it, where you're tired, where you're not seeing results, where the world feels against you. What are you going to show up for your workouts? Having a private health coach that if you don't show up, you get charged, and that you bought a package with, or you belonging to a gym and taking classes where it's all self-will reliant. And you know yourself best. Self-will is not a wealth business plan. You are not going to amass great wealth relying on self-will. It's very dangerous. It's not working. And there's 2% of you who are at the point of where you know that, and you've dibble dabbled and you've bought maybe self-paced courses, which is still a great start. I mean, I have my Make More Work Less course that I'm still running my jungle sale right now, which is $200 off. That's a great place to start. You can come in the posse. You can't say money is an issue with the offers that I have. Okay. And then some of you have already dibble dabbled enough with that stuff, and you're like, enough's enough already. I need to do the Holy Grail. I need to have that customization, that personalization, and you take an action. But that's only 2% of you. That's why when you look at, that's the secret. So when it's like, what is the secret? What is it that these people are doing online where they're making all this money and they're making millions? These are people who are older than me. These are people who are younger than me. These are people who I have more credentials than them. I have more of a heart than them. I have, we all do that kind of comparing game. Like, it's because they are setting themselves up so they have to show up, and relying on being super disciplined and focused, that's not going to cut it. That's a rare breed. And I would consider myself dedicated, devoted. I would say I'm a pretty disciplined person, and it's not enough for me. I have it set up in a way where if I don't show up, the cost factor is really high. I lose money. I lose respect for myself. My self-worth starts to be affected. My abundance mindset is affected. It feels really good when you want to go after building a certain level of life for yourself, a lifestyle for yourself, and you're taking action and you're following through and you're doing the things over and over and over again. And yeah, you're going to have lots of things happen along the way where it's like, oh, this isn't working. Maybe I shouldn't do this. This doesn't feel good. What's your other option then? To not do it? And a lot of people choose that option and remain in debt, remain frozen, because that victim story feels safer, feels easier. But I don't think you were called to listen to my show, to watch my content, to be in this posse community if you were not being heavily nudged to go in a different direction, to go to another level, to stop trading all of your time for money. The secret is you in showing up and taking the action. I say this all the time. 70% of the stuff that I do, I don't feel like doing. As much as I love you and I love the show, and I am so grateful that we're on our 600th episode and the community we've built here and how we laugh and how we're raw. And I love you guys so much. But would I rather be zoned out looking at a wall right now, eating snacks, than doing this? Yeah. The ego kind of lazy state, that type C, type chill side of me, absolutely. But my higher self shows up regardless. And you need to look at that. How would my higher self show up? That's where the money is. That's where the abundance is. How would she show up? How would he show up? What does showing up regardless look like for you? And when I go to sleep or I'm chilling at the end of a day, I know I can say to myself, even on a day where I didn't get much done, I still showed up for myself in the greater good. Some days are better than other, and it's not gauged on level of productivity. Okay. I'm not even talking about, oh, you have to be so productive and all of this. But I took the risk. I took the chance. I showed up and did the thing. And there are no guarantees. There are absolutely no guarantees in any of this. The only guarantee is if you continue to stay hidden and stay small and stay in reluctance and stay in resistance, nothing is going to happen. And so my best money advice for you is to set things up so you have to show up. If you really want that lifestyle that money affords, you want to do that, you're not going to be able to get that by sitting back and chilling and not being wildly uncomfortable and scared and taking risk. It's just not going to happen. In really any area of life, right? You're not going to get the partner, the friends, the body, the house. There's the job. You've got to be willing to go into uncertainty and keep walking in uncertainty. And like, there's this in the jungle, there's this really cool thing that I called the abundance portal. And they made this really cool canopy of trees. And it was like a tunnel of trees. And at the end of the tunnel was the ocean. And but you could kind of maybe see it a little bit from far away, like you could see a little bit of blue. And so you knew something was there, but you had to be you in order to see this, I had to do a crazy travel journey to get there to begin with. And then I had to go through this tunnel in order to experience this magical place. And that analogy is so true for you. It's like you're trying to bypass the journey in order to get to the abundance. And it doesn't work like that. You have to be willing to go through the journey, and the abundance is there. It's not if it's there, it is there. It's the knowing it's there. You have to know that it's there in order to get you to keep doing it. I knew that my next level healing, my next level ascension, my next level growth, my next level abundance was awaiting me on the other side of doing this deep healing work at this retreat. But I had to do quite a bit in order to get there, but I knew it was there. And you might be going, well, I don't know for a fact it's there. How can you not know it's there? If it's there for me, it's there for you. There's a lot of other people in this world, you can go binge documentaries on Netflix. You can look at many celebrities that you love. You can look at authors. There's so many examples. You can just Google it. You can use ChatGPT for it of giving examples. I have tons of clients that are great examples where they had all the odds stacked against them and the abundance is there. I am not wired like a typical entrepreneur. By far not. I am highly empathetic. I'm very heart driven. I'm a highly sensitive soul. I have complex PTSD. I have generalized anxiety disorder. I have diagnosed depression. I am medicated. I am unwell in the mind a lot of times. Yet the abundance is here for me. But if you don't believe it's there, then you're not going to be able to muster the energy to even start the journey, to even continue on the journey when the journey gets hard, to even make the investment to be able to have someone navigate and guide you through the journey. Could I have had the healing and the transformational experience I had in this jungle without like the investment of, time and energy and money and all of that? Probably, maybe, eventually, but I get one life. I am not going to do anything and leave things to that level of chance of probably and maybe and eventually. I want to stack it in my favor that the likelihood is extremely high. And in order to do that, you do have to make an investment for yourself. And that's why I do it over and over again. It never doesn't pay off. And sometimes, yeah, sometimes we invest in the wrong people and in the wrong things, but that's also part of it too. That's the law of polarity. Not everything you touch is going to turn to gold. Not every mentor you hire is going to be a great fit. Not every movie you go see is going to be a winner. In order for you to know and really appreciate what's great in terms of a healing practitioner, a wonderful movie, a beautiful, powerful, supportive, loving coach, and a person, a friend, a partner, the only way you know that is by the law of polarity, because you've experienced what's shit. I've experienced a lot of shit in my life. So when I know someone is solid, whether it's someone I'm hiring or it's a friend, I know, and I appreciate them a million times more because I know what's out there. So that stuff has to happen too. That's not avoidable. That's all part of it. And you also need to normalize that. I understand when something happens initially, we all have to lick our wounds. I'm never dating again. I'm never marrying anybody again. I'm never investing again. And that's okay. That's just, we get to have a little bit of time to have that. But to stay in that state and closed off, you can't remain closed and be open to abundance at the same time. And you want to go deeper into identifying and healing your money wounds, for sure. The two places to go would be my Make More Work Less Money course. Okay. That link is in the show notes. You swipe up and in the description on YouTube. And absolutely, if there's any new member spots left, join the posse, because a lot of you who are working so hard and doing and not receiving as much as you would think at this point, or where it doesn't feel fair in exchange for your efforts, it's because subconsciously your body is protecting you from making that money, because there's money wounds that are saying it's not safe for me to have wealth. It's not safe for me to have that level of visibility. It's not safe for me to have that kind of success. And if we don't remove those, you're going to continue to work yourself into burnout, and you will not be able to receive. Your capacity to receive is directly correlated to healing and managing those wounds. And some of those are scars, right? And even managing those scars and navigating those scars. So that's what happens in that course. Of course, working with me privately, we do all the strategy, all the customization of growing and scaling your business. But while we're doing that, I work with you on identifying and healing your money wounds, because you can't out strategize that. I've watched it many times where people are like, I just want the strategy. I'm hiring you for the strategy. I want to have this profitable business plan. I want to know how to make profitable content for my business and what offers and how to price them and da 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 da. And I see these people coming miles away. And I said, yes. And all that's going to happen. But we also at the same time have to do this other work. And if you're not willing to trust this and trust my process, then we're just not a good fit. You're not going to be a good fit for any of my programs. And the reason why you're not going to get to where you want to go is because you're resisting this other internal work. And I know it can be scary. And I know it can seem boring. It can seem unsexy. It can seem all these things. Maybe you even think you've done a lot of that work because you've had a lot of therapy. Maybe you're a healer yourself. And there's a little ego in there that, like, well, if I have to do all this work and if I have all this mess to unpack, then, who am I to have people hire me? Well, that shows me right there that you have a wound. And I've been doing this a long time. I can identify these very, very quickly in people, which is a beautiful thing. And I've had most all of them, and I continue to work through them myself. And if I didn't continue to work through them, I would not be able to ascend to my next level of abundance. I would reach a financial plateau, just like with a plateau with your weight. So if you're in a plateau in your life, maybe instead of saying I'm stuck, how about you say, I'm in a plateau right now. What can I do to break through this plateau? What can I do that's different? What can I do that will help me? Because continuing to say you're stuck and continuing to just sit in that is not going to get you to where you want to go. I'm in a plateau. I don't want to be in this. What moves do I need to make to bust out of this? And it happens to everyone. It happens to multimillionaire friends of mine, people I know who are way wealthier. It's happened to my mentor who passed last year. He would reach them. He'd even lose a bunch of money if he wasn't doing the internal work on himself, or if he got lazy about it. And you might go, God, this is not what I wanted to hear in terms of debt, in terms of money, in terms of, I just want you to, like, give me a magic pill. That's your problem, is you're looking for that, is you're looking for a magic pill. And then you buy into fantasy marketing and you spend more money on shit that ends up not working, or it's stuff that would work, but you quit because it's not happening fast enough, because you want the get rich quick, because you're wanting the abundance without having to go on the journey. And like I said, there's only 2% of you who are willing to go on the journey. And I want you to ask yourself right now, am I going to be the 2%, or do I want to continue to be the 98? And I'm not going to judge you either way. If you want to continue being at that 98% for whatever reason, hopefully your time comes in this lifetime where you're like, enough's enough already, and you reach enough pain. And maybe it doesn't happen in this lifetime. But that is the secret, is to showing up regardless. And I feel I'd be doing a disservice if I didn't touch on the whole debt things. I get a lot of questions about debt. I'm in debt and it paralyzes me. I feel like I'm never going to get out of it. What's your best debt advice? You're in debt like that. And it's not like investment debt. Investment debt's a different story, right? Maybe you've bought a house, a rental property that you have a mortgage on. You have taken a business loan out to hire me. You started a coffee shop and obviously you had to take a loan out or spend money on equipment, or maybe you are creating a product line and you're using money on that. That's different. That's not what I'm talking about. That's investment debt. I'm talking about debt from all sorts of shit. Debt from overspending, debt from living beyond your means. Sometimes it is debt from unforeseen circumstances, right? Like medical debt, being in a crap relationship or marriage, you people pleasing and taking care of other people, sending kids to rehabs that are really expensive over and over again. And you are not going to save your way out of debt. You're just not. If you're in a little bit of debt, like $3,000, $5,000, sure. But you're in a lot of debt. You won't be able to save your way out of it. There's some things that you can definitely cut down on that aren't necessary. If you've noticed, people who have real money, and I'm not talking like the flashy, cashy people, but people who are really grounded in it, I could afford a Bentley. Okay. I could afford several Bentleys. I could afford to fly private, not a private plane status yet, but I could afford to fly private. Okay. Why? I don't need to do that. I would rather have that money be making me more money than me spending it on stuff. Like I could have gone and gotten the latest model car. I still have a 2014 MacBook. I have the iPhone 15 Pro. I don't have the latest version. I always ask myself, like, is this an investment? And it can be an investment in joy, right? My travel, me going, on a retreat, me buying super high quality organic foods, or my $30 smoothie I had delivered to my house yesterday because my body really wanted that nourishment. And that's okay, because that's an investment in myself, right? But I don't, just because you can, that doesn't mean you should. So there's that. But you've got to bring in more money. And you are in a very special time in history. And I would say there's about an 18-month to maybe 2.5 year very special sweet spot here where you can make money sitting on your ass from your phone, utilizing free apps right now, at any age, any gender identity, any race, any personality. I mean, I follow a 96-year-old on TikTok who has like 18 million followers and mega brand deals. There's another lady, I'm obsessed with her. It's Cindy Mindy on TikTok. Dying, obsessed. There is not one thing about her that where someone would conventionally go, this is someone who's going to make money online. But you best believe she is. And I follow her, and I don't follow that many people. You have it right here. And I'm giving you, in exchange for you showing your appreciation of the show and leaving a written review on Apple Podcasts, or leaving 5 stars on Spotify, and then doing a post shout out of the show and tagging me. Those instructions are right inside the show notes. I'm giving you for free my Content Creation Made Easy course bundle to show you how to do it. It is really that easy. And I don't want you to go, I don't look like this. I'm not this age. I don't have time. Fine. You can keep stacking up those excuses, or you can just do it. You can say you're not good at tech. Do you really think? Go look at Cindy Mindy. Do you think she was good at it? I'm not good at tech, by the way. But you know what I am good at? I can Google the shit out of stuff and do trial and error and figure it out. There is no better time than now to be able to make money online, wearing your pajamas from a device, and not even platforms that charge you. And where do I start doing that? Well, I certainly have a lot of podcast episodes talking about it. You can come inside my Posse membership if there's new member spots left, where the Nail Your Niche Masterclass will have you get crystal clear on your area, like your area, your genre, your point of focus. There's lots of examples. You'll absolutely love it. You get that for free for a limited time. So there's no reason not to do that. I've taken all the excuses away. So when you have no excuses left, what does your brain tell you now? And that's the stuff I want you to sit with. If you still take no action, even though I'm telling you exactly how to get the help, there's no way you can't find the money to do it at $3.33 a day. Then I would say you absolutely have to do my Make More Work Less course. Now we've got some deep-seated money wounds, money trauma that often stems from childhood trauma that has to be worked through and released, because that is what's putting you in these fear-based behaviors like analysis paralysis, freezing and overwhelm, procrastination, avoidance, nasty, negative self-talk, victim-y stuff. That's your next move. But it's all here sitting for you. Like, it's actually laughable how much is there. But you've got to be able to go, I know it's there, Tiffany. I see it's there. There's evidence of it's there, just like that abundance tunnel in the jungle. What would you be willing to do to get yourself to go to that jungle, to be able to experience the transformation on the other side? Would you be willing to do the travel? Would you be willing to pay for it? Would you be willing to take the time? Would you be willing to be humble and open and willing and trusting to receive? Would you be able to take down the mass? Would you be able to be silent? Would you be able to be uncomfortable? Would you be able to allow your shit to come up and talk about it? Would you be willing to do all of those things in order to get what's waiting for you on the other side? It's here for you. It's just on a different frequency than you're at right now. And all you have to do is turn the dial and change the channel. It really is that simple. It's your ego that's making it hard, because as long as your ego makes it hard, you're not going to take any action. It gets to be easy. It gets to be abundant. It gets to be empowering. It gets to be impactful. It's all here for you. I have so much evidence of it, and I could keep giving you more and more evidence. But it's a matter of you making the decision that I'm the 2%. Give yourself that gift. You were born, you're on this earth at this exact time in history. You're wanting to make this change at this exact time in your life, at this exact age, with your unique set of circumstances, with your unique heart, with your unique energy, with your unique way of explaining things, with your unique gifts and talents and passions and quirks and craziness. You were specifically designed in this way to help the greater good. But you've got to get out of your own way and stop holding yourself back. Wishing you great health, wealth, and worth as always. I love you. A big cheers to you. And I'm so, so thankful for all of you who've supported the show, who continue to support the show, who share the show, who delight in it. It means the world to me. It blows my mind that this is a top show worldwide. And I started everything from total scratch. And I am so proud of myself for taking the journey and continuing on it, even when nothing looked like it was working. Because I knew if I wanted the possibility of having the abundance that I knew existed on the other side and helping the millions of people, that was only going to happen with me continuing to go along that journey. And it's paid off. Love you. Go leave the review, get the content creation made easy, swipe up. It's in the show notes, also in the description on YouTube. Make a move. You're the 2%. You wouldn't be listening to this otherwise. If you enjoyed this podcast, please write a 5-star review on iTunes. Not only will this make me super happy, but it will allow more listeners to find our special show. Simply help me help others.